market update here on the 3rd. So I think that QQQ still has a third part of the bear market, and we have not even gotten into that yet. Do I think it's going to happen soon? It could happen here. It very well could happen here. That would mean this whole move is WXY. And I have this marked right here to show you that if you're using a log chart, which is better for long term, so on the monthly chart, you can see we've only retraced halfway to the 0.23 fib. The 0.23 fib is kind of where I target at, is down here at 218. My original target was 207. So I think that this is still either an X wave or a B wave. I would say it's turning into a B wave, but it hasn't been long enough really, I don't think. And so we still have not hit the C wave of this fourth wave. This second wave took, let's see, and the second wave was pretty short and sweet. So it started in October 2007, ended in November of 2008. So normally, if you know Elliott wave, when one is quick and pretty violent dip, this came all the way down here to the 0.78 fib. The other one will usually be shallow and long and drawn out. We started this in November of 2021. I would expect it to at least last probably 2 or 3 years. If this is really short, this one's probably going to be a lot longer. So that's another reason why we have not finished this bear market. So then zooming in here, I think that with the liquidity about to be drained from the market to put into the treasury, that again, we pretty much hit the target. Might get a gap fill here, but again, we've already hit my target of 353, pretty much where we're at, a little bit higher. And so I think, now zooming in here on the 15-minute, that this should be the last move higher. 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 357, which is the 1.61 fib of the W wave, or a gap fill at 360. And the interesting thing about that is 360, let's say we're going down to 207, 360, the top of this is 408, that's $48. The bottom here is at 254 minus 48, that's about 207. So this math is showing that this is the top of the B wave, but I also wouldn't be surprised if, either way, it doesn't really matter. It could do this too. It could do W, pullback X, and we go higher into the end of the year. And then 2024, we come down here and break outside this parallel line. So it doesn't really matter which way. This could be the top, or we do an X wave and go higher. As far as where we're going to go on a pullback, if we pull back next week, I'm looking at minimum 0.23 fib, which is at 331.43. There's a gap fill here at 333. We got the 0.38 fib at 315. There's a gap fill at 308. So I don't know where that's going to go, or if this is actually the top. We're going to find out when it actually starts falling. But I'll be looking for a minimum of 333, 332. So if you have puts for like the next 3 or 4 months, those should print pretty good, I think. So yeah, that pretty much sums up QQQ. A little bit higher, and then we should start a correction that could take a few months. It's a $1 trillion liquidity drain out of the market into the treasury over the next couple of months. SPY, same thing. Really haven't been following this one as much. QQQ has been a lot more easy to read in my opinion. I don't like all the choppiness, but this should be in a final move higher here. And let's just look at the top here. The top is at 479. The bottom was at 348. Let's zoom out here on the monthly on this as well. So again, you can see it pretty clearly. On this one, we're probably not going to get to the outside of this because it's such a thick second wave. And the thing about this is it was 9 years. So QQQ was short and sweet on the second wave. This one was 9 years long. So this one's probably going to be shorter. It doesn't really matter because it's going to take 2 or 3 years, and that's way shorter than 9 years. But I would want to see it outside this parallel line at some point. Maybe it doesn't get there though. This is pretty far out. This is December of 26. So maybe it won't even get there. But again, still looking for another leg down. We've only retraced. To halfway to the 0.23 fib. The 0.23 fib is at 305. So I would expect something around 305 when it finally starts falling. And then you can see the projections. If we go to 305, the next move higher is going to take this to crazy levels. So 305, close enough. I mean, this is pretty high. And that's the thing about log charts. They give you kind of crazy, outlandish price targets. So maybe it's a fifth wave. Maybe it only goes to the 0.23 fib here at 560, or maybe even 681. We can also use our parallel lines, but you're going to get a different price target with the log chart versus this. So you can still kind of see it pretty well on the linear chart, but I just prefer to use the log chart because on stocks like NVIDIA, you can actually see, you can see the long-term movement on this. But look at this. So am I going to chart this smaller area but I can do the log chart and I can go like this and they're all in proportion. So I guess I'll just go into NVIDIA, might as well. So NVIDIA, I think it finished the third wave. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is that right? Hold on. 1, 2, and then, oh, I think that this was a third wave right here. Hold on. I'd have to zoom in to figure this out again. I'm pretty sure I have this as the end of the third wave. But, yeah, I think this is the end of the third wave right here. So, 1, 2, 3. I have a fourth wave coming. I'm looking for something around like $200 to $300 pretty much, and then another move higher whenever the bear market is finished. So I don't think NVIDIA is finished overall, but on the short term, if you go zoom in here on the short term, it is finished. And I showed you on the smaller time frames, 5 waves have been met, and it's currently correcting. This is the start of a fourth wave that could take a long time. How long did that the second wave take? Second wave took about a year and 8 months. So this fourth wave will probably take at least a couple of years. So we'll see how it goes. Tesla. So again, on the log chart, another example here. If I'm using the log chart, my projection is going to be Tesla to 320. If I go with the linear chart, we're only looking for it to hit, I think, 280. No, only 260. So completely different how this works, but I think the log chart is probably a little bit more accurate. And so yeah, I just kind of summed that up. Either this is going to be a short C wave here or Y wave, and we're going to collapse down here to go to new lows, or this is only wave 1. I think this can go to 225 to 230 here next week because it's in a 4th wave. So I'm expecting something around 225 to 230. That completes 5 waves. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're on the 5th wave, and it was in the 4th wave into the day. So one more move higher, and then I'm expecting a pullback at least to the 0.5 fib here at 185. So I think it would be a very good short candidate here in the next week sometime. And honestly, this might be the best stock to watch to show you when the market's going to top. Amazon, I think, can get to 134, but I'm not sure if it's going to get there now. It's already hit this gap fill right here. And so it didn't quite get to, let me see something. If I draw this from here, still not getting there. So it didn't quite get to the outside parallel line, but I'm expecting a correction in Amazon too, maybe a little bit higher, maybe 128, and then a correction, and then that's either the top. So that's either the top where we have A, B, or we're going to get a move down here and go higher. Apple, if you remember my past videos talking about Apple, I was looking for 182 for a long time. And we came, did it hit 182? It came about 18 cents from 182. So that's another sign that the market's topped out. 182 was always the target based on just the simple, this technique right here, 182. So again, Apple is either going to do, it's either topped out and it's going to new lows over the next like year, or we're looking at it like, and it's going to go to even more highs. So not much upside in Apple, not much upside in Amazon. Nvidia already topped out. Tesla has a little bit more upside. Google, I was in this week, again, probably looking for like 128, but it didn't hit it and it backed off. The risk reward is not there in my opinion, although it might go up there and hit it early next week. Microsoft should have topped out a long time ago. 335. It pretty much did top out. It's just sitting up there waiting for the correction. And again, it's like pretty close to all-time highs at this point. So look for the same thing. Either it topped out completely, we're going to go to new lows, or it's going to pull back and go higher. Meta, I think Meta could carry the market next week with Tesla, or could carry QQQ. It really depends, though, on if it comes up here and gap fills at 290. That was my overall target for this whole move. We can use our, let's do this again and just see what the target is. So Meta might be going all the way up here to 373. So, but I could see short term going up here to 290, and 373 would be basically a double top with the all-time highs. So I don't know. I think I really am leaning towards this not being the top in the overall market. I think that we're probably going to get this. It might even turn into an expanded flat. I just don't see us going to new lows yet. I think that they're talking about this debt ceiling stuff and the treasury stuff, and everyone knows about it now. So I think we're going to get a nice correction, but I don't think that we're going to crash the new lows yet. I think that's 2024. I think we got to come down here, set some more bear traps, and then melt up into the end of the year, and then probably crash in 2024. So that's kind of my take on everything. But Meta could come up here to gap fill, and then go up to 373. That would be a very good long if it pulls back here. And whenever it starts pulling back, we can start looking at like demand and supply and all that stuff. DXY still sitting up here, and another like warning is the dollar has gotten stronger and the market hasn't even sold off yet. So maybe it's going to, because everyone's getting out of the market and it's just holding on, but it's been pretty strong with the dollar getting stronger. So that's kind of a warning sign for bears, really, in my opinion. I still expect down here to 93 at some point. That's another reason why the market will probably go higher. VIX, we don't need to look at the VIX. The VIX is kind of pointless. Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I think it's just been sitting here for this whole time. I'm looking for it to come down here. I don't think it's ready to go higher yet, with the market about to pull back. And again, there's this demand zone here at 23,000. I've been repeating myself the last like couple weeks in this videos for Bitcoin, but it doesn't ever move. So I've actually stopped buying it like short term. I'm waiting for a pullback, and then I'll probably go pretty big in this area because, again, I'm looking at this as, at the minimum, probably something like this. That's not right. Maybe 33,000, but probably not. This is probably a first wave or AB right here. Let's see what the 1.61 fib is. 34.5. I think it's going higher than that. I think it's going to end up being like a 5-wave move here. So we got 1, 2, something like that. We're in the first wave of the third wave, and this is the second wave of the third wave. So there's no telling how high it'll go, but I'm expecting higher into the end of the year. So I'll leave it at that. Pretty much, I just explained that I'm expecting a correction over the next couple of months, but I don't think that that will be the overall top for the year in the market. I'm expecting a melt up into the end of the year, and there's many stocks to look at that will show you that we're probably going to go higher. Getting the targets is kind of hard right now, besides using that technique I showed. But Tesla could technically go all the way to 320. Meta could go all the way to 370. So crazy stuff, but that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. Have a good weekend. Let me know what you think in the comments, and make sure you hit that subscribe button for more updates pretty much every day. I didn't do as many this week, but mostly every day after the market.